Many religions include meditation on the divine name as an important part of the spiritual practice. In Hinduism, the well-known aspects of the divine, each one of them has a long, long list of names, thousands of names, which makes sense because divinity being infinite, how could you ever get to the end of all of the names? And the recitation of these names, often when it's part of the daily routine, it helps the person who's practicing the faith focus on the meaning of those names. Say, for example, if it was Vishnu, they would be reciting the thousands of names of Vishnu and focusing on the message that divinity is past, present, and future, or as we would say, beyond time and space. They would use the names to take them to a focus that divinity is the essence in all things, or as we would say, in and through all things. They're focusing on the idea that divinity is the supreme, all in all, or as we would say, the thing itself. And each name, as it is recited, evokes a quality of the divine, and it's intended to open the devotee's mind so that they're not stuck in a rut, stuck on one name. They get encouraged to think of divinity from a different angle. And that's the way they open up their minds, open up their consciousness, to let the use of the names evoke in them qualities such as allness, joy, creativity, compassion, givingness, and so on. Take, for example, the 1,000 names of the goddess Parvati in Hinduism. Now I'm going to read some of them to you, and these are just an approximation of what they might mean in English. And even in English, you can feel the meditative, almost hypnotic rhythm of saying the names. The initial reality, the goddess. She who is poignant like fire. She who is beyond measure. She who is infinite. She who is the infinite. She who never ages. She who is loved by all. She who gives strength. She who represents the future. She who is the power of Brahma, the creator. She who is the thinking mind. She who is the mother. She who is full of knowledge. She who is black as night. She who is invincible. She who gives knowledge. She who is always in action. She who is the goddess of wealth, Lakshmi. She who is the power behind Shiva. She who has immense strength. She who is red in color. She who is the ultimate. She who is real. She who is old. She who is young. She who is above all. She who is the truth. She who gives joy. She who renounces the world. She who is woman. And on it goes, and on it goes, and on it goes, and it serves as a meditation on the nature of the divine. Similarly, in the Kabbalah studies, a mystical branch of Judaism, the individual is thought to unite on an even deeper level by meditating on the names and the meaning of the names in that tradition in Judaism. And I learned from my research that in Judaism there are 7 names that are thought to be so holy that once written down ought never to be erased. Interesting. In Islam, there is a list of 99 names of the divine. They're described in the Quran as well as in other documents of the faith, other commentaries. And the exact list isn't agreed upon, but that's not the point. Some say there are many names. of the divine that are hidden from humanity, unknowable to us in this current state of being human. And in one of the widely accepted commentaries of Islam, it reports that the Prophet said that the one who recites or enumerates this list of 99 names attains heaven. Now, in our faith tradition, we think of heaven as a state of consciousness in which we feel and experience our oneness with all of life. So I can see how focusing on the names of the divine and what they mean could actually raise us up to that. I can see that. Now, if you think about it, this focusing on the name or the nature of the divine is actually what our first step of spiritual mind treatment is all about. Now, if you don't know what I mean when I say spiritual mind treatment, it's the form of prayer we teach here, an affirmative form of prayer that begins on this first step with contemplating, describing in my own heart, thinking about the nature of the divine before I do anything else, before I rush into asking for something, before I move on influencing and changing the world. I dwell in the first step, focus on recognizing. Isn't that a beautiful word? Recognize. To know again. You see somebody, you recognize them, and everything about them comes into your awareness. That's the first step. And you know that some teachers say that if you get that first step right, you don't need any of the others. Isn't that interesting? In Islam, over time, it became the custom to recite this list of 99 names using beads to keep count. Very much like Hindus and Buddhists use their beads of 108 beads for their recitation of mantras. But in Islam, it's 99 beads, like this one, which belongs to Reverend Joyce Tufalo, which she picked up in a Muslim country. And she tells me that when the recitation is complete, that the person places them in the pocket to serve as a reminder of what has been done, so that when you feel them, it links you back to the contemplation throughout your day. Do you recall last year, around about this time, when we had our pledge program? We call it our giving intention program. That's the time of the year when we disclose how much we're going to give financially to support the center. And as a gift to everyone who completed a giving intention card, we gave everybody a string of mala beads with 108 beads. And sometimes I see people wearing them around the center or even around town. And it occurred to me, we could invent yet another way to use those beads in a contemplative practice. For example, if you and I sat down and came up with our own list of 108 names for divinity, and then practiced saying them mindfully, meaningfully, with a little bit of rhythm and feeling, and thinking about what each word means, we would be doing spiritual mind treatment's first step very well. In the Quran, these 99 names, are referred to as the most beautiful names of the divine. Here are some examples of the ones I found attractive. The entirely merciful, the especially merciful, the sovereign, the pure, the perfection, the giver of faith, the overseer, the exalted, the bestower of form, the shaper, the compeller, the superior, the provider, the expander, the all-hearing, the all-seeing, the preserver, the sustainer, the generous, the creator, the inventor, the fashioner, and on it goes, taking the person deeper. And the 100th name is kept secret, as a way of reminding ourselves that we cannot possibly know all that the infinite is It must go on beyond every concept we have. And perhaps it is for that reason that Islam categorically forbids the representation of the divine in any form. The divine is never personified into a form, not into an image or a drawing or a symbol or a painting. Because the idea is, how could you possibly draw or represent something that you cannot fully apprehend? So in the literature of Islam, there are no drawings on the side that represent the divine. And in mosques, there are no statues. They are instead decorated with geometric designs for beauty. No images of any kind. There's a lot to agree with in Islam about the concept of the divine that matches us in Science of Mind. And there are also substantial differences. But let us dwell on that which is similar for a moment. In agreement, we have with Islam that the divine is one and cannot be divided. In agreement with Islam, we hold that worshiping anything else other than the divine leads to trouble. In agreement with Islam, we hold that the divine is not remote and far away. And neither do we need any intermediary, anything, to be in communion with it. In agreement with Islam, we hold that the divine is neither male nor female. Now, Arabic doesn't have the pronoun it. And so they have to use he or she, and they settled on he just to keep it consistent. But they are fully aware that that's an incomplete way. In agreement with Islam, we understand that the divine has no beginning and has no end. The differences, well, they're interesting differences, but that's how we are. I don't think it's my goal to find 100% agreement with all faith traditions, but to look at those places where we intersect and feel resonance. The 99 names and the recitation of them are very helpful for Muslims in focusing on a particular form and quality of the divine. And as I was reading about them, I thought to myself, what are the names of the divine in our faith tradition? What are the 99 most beautiful names we use for the divine? So I asked for assistance from some of my practitioner friends, and we did a little research. Diane Tapania, Suzanne Sackett, and I think it was Rosalie Solzhenitsyn that helped me. We just went through the Science of Mind textbook with Notepad and collected all of the names used to describe the divine, and we came up with many more than 99. But I narrowed it down to 99 so that we could have our own experience of reciting together what I'm calling the most beautiful names of the divine according to our tradition. And then we could use that as our way of establishing ourselves in the first step of spiritual mind treatment. So it's on this piece of paper that you received when you came in, and I invite you now to read it with me. Here we go. The Absolute, the All-Good, the All-Knowing Mind, the Blessed Presence, conscious mind, creative energy, creative intelligence, divine architect, divine being, divine companion, divine givingness, divine mind, divine power, divine speaker, Emmanuel, the eternal reality, the eternal spirit, Father, Mother, God, first cause, the friend within, goodness, the great companion of the soul, the great I am, the great overshadowing presence, the indwelling good, infinite knowingness, infinite life, infinite mind, infinite possibility, infinite principle, infinite unity, infinite wholeness, the inner guide, the inner light, the inner presence, invisible cause, invisible essence, joy supreme, keeper of my life, keeper of my spirit, life, light, love, the living Spirit Almighty, the maker of all things, the Most High, the Oversoul, power, presence, principle, pure spirit, reality, self-existence, self-existent first cause, soul, source, spirit, spirit of life, spiritual presence, supreme intelligence, the absolute, the all good, the changeless, the creator, the formless, the great I am, the great whole, the infinite thinker, the law of liberty, the life principle, the light of the world, the limitless, the one and only, the one mind, the spirit of peace, the thing itself, the timeless, the truth, the unborn one, the unconditioned, the uncreated, the universal, the universe, the whole, the word, truth, ultimate stuff, unborn one, unconditioned one, universal energy, universal essence of life, universal life, universal mind, universal spirit, universal wholeness, the universe, the unseen guest. And then if you just take a moment with me to let that recognition settle in you. And through this recognition of the one and only, we feel a sense of unity with all things through its infinite nature. As we begin to sense that it within us is presence, it within us is pure spirit, it within us is reality, it within us is our soul and our source and the spirit of our life. It within us is our spiritual presence. It within us is intelligent. It within us is absolute and changeless and formless. It is the great I am within us. It within us is our thinking mind. It within us operates according to the life principle and the law of liberty. It within us is the spirit of peace. Within us it is timeless. It is the truth within us. It is that within us which is whole, is that within us which is universal energy. It is that within us which is the universe. And as we contemplate this, by the power of this thought in prayer, it opens our awareness to see life through this filter of unity with all things. It evokes in us a sense of appreciation and recognition of the divine in all of creation. And so we allow to come into our awareness those people who are affected by the fires and the aftermath of them, the first responders, those who are displaced, and those who are helping and contributing in every way. And so we let our thought dwell on the self-existent cause in them, the spirit of life in them, the spirit of completeness in them, the all good guiding them, the changeless maintaining their equilibrium, the great I am inspiring them into action, the infinite thinker resolving complexities in them, the law of liberty freeing them, the one and only present in them, love surrounding them, the truth reminding them of their own truth, the universal connecting them to all life everywhere. And as we dwell upon that, it evokes in us the sense of how we, too, may contribute and participate, never departing from the awareness of the supreme intelligence of the universe, the one and only, the one mind, operating not only in us to inspire us, but in all of them, in all of life, in all beings, in all of nature, in all outcomes. And so it is that we rest in this awareness. A sense of joy emerges from praying this way, an uncaused joy that is not connected to any outcome, a joy that comes from the practice itself. It's before the practice that joy existed. It existed before we said this prayer, and we are, through this prayer, reconnecting with it, the spirit of life in us, the absolute. And so it is that we dwell for a moment in silence to let this awareness then settle in. And according to our tradition, we release this word of prayer to that law of mind which establishes us in the prayer. In other words, we go forth now about our ordinary business, but now with a sense, we might say, of expectancy, awareness, clarity, and poise. And together we say, and so it is.